The use of excessive debt, one of those very, very easy traps to fall into, but very tough and painful to get out of. Now, if you are in debt, this video is for you. If you don't have any debt, it's even more important for you to listen up, right? So my name is Tendo, and I am your financial coach. Public announcement, guys, disclosures, disclaimers. I am not a financial advisor. I am a financial coach. I teach from a place of personal experience and just from a place of having done research on myself and even the people that have made it really well in their personal finance journey. Now back to the issue of debt, right? So because debt is one of those things that are very easily accessible, it sort of trains your mind to start believing that it's normal. It's normal for you to access the things that you want and the things that you need via debt. But this is not true. But of course, there are those big ticket items that will require you and I to use debt. Right? Like if you want to buy a house, if you want to buy a car, depending which country you live in, as well as going to university, right? University fees. But when it comes to things like clothes, as well as food, and going on holiday, guys, let's rest, hey? Let's stay away from using debt just to maintain a lifestyle that we actually cannot afford. So I have coaching sessions with professionals from all over the world on a weekly basis. And, the sad part is before we can even start to talk about, our elaborate goals of, saving and investing for our financial goals, unfortunately, where we need to start is at let's understand the debt landscape. And most people can't even begin to save and invest because they are so indebted, right? And that's unfortunately where the process of financial wellness needs to start, right? Where we rehabilitate you and we help you basically understand and know your debt and give you tools and strategies to tackle it and to basically get out of debt before we can even start talking about investing for those wonderful things that we all desire and we all want. And, it's just unfortunate that debt is cited as one of those reasons why people don't save and invest, as well as why people are experiencing, a lot of anxiety and a lot of mental health related issues. So this is how I ended up in debt, right? I ended up with a store card, a department store card. And it was really well-meaning, guys. It was really from the bottom of my heart. All I wanted to achieve at that point was to just get a good credit score because I had plans to buy a house, right? So I ended up with this card and I purposed in my heart that, I'm just going to spend, I just want a monthly or a minimum payment of about 250, and this should go on up until the time I'm ready to buy the house. But it ended up in tears, hey? It really, really ended up in tears. I started off at, I think the buying power was about 2,000 Rand, and it ended up at 15,000 Rand. And this is how easily I got to a place where I was now owing 15,000 Rand. So I would get into the shop. I'm not very big on clothes. So I'd get into this department store. It's those stores, love. It sells everything from food, cosmetics. It sells houseware as well as clothes and shoes, right? So I'm not very big on shoes and clothes. So I'd go in and go to those expensive brands, just grab a few items, grab one pair of shoe. I'm that person. I can wear the same shoe for the whole year. Grab a good quality shoe for the whole year. Tap it in a good 3,000 Rand. Let's say someone is sad and they need some cheering up. I would quickly run into the store, get a big bunch of flowers and those nice, sweet goodies. If it's December, I would easily just ask both my sisters to just take a few items to just spoil themselves. And I'm big on perfume. That's easily 1.5 in. And lastly, if it's someone's baby shower or bridal shower or birthday, easily take a gift card for about 1,000 or 1,005. And that's literally how easy it was for me to move from a place of I'm literally just trying to build a good credit score to ending up with a debt of 15,000 Rand. So as I was slowly, painfully and grudgingly paying off this debt of 20,000 Rand for things that I could not even point out that, okay, this is where I used the money for. I came across a scripture that I started meditating on. I actually read it in a book of one of my favorite personal finance authors, and it speaks to the fact that the borrower becomes slave to the lender. It just made so much sense that, you know what, debt is debt, hey? We can talk about good debt, we can talk about bad debt, but at the end of the day, debt needs to be paid up. It doesn't matter whether it's debt for appreciating assets like buying a house or paying for university fees so that you can one day get a job that will eventually get you income, or it's debt that you incur because you want to buy perfume and buy food and flowers for your friends. At the end of the day, it's debt and it needs to be paid back. Let's be very careful when we tap into the debt space. Let's understand the cost of debt. Let's also understand that it is very easy to get into the trap of being highly indebted. It happens slowly, but over time, because of compound interest and because we keep transacting, because it's so easy, we end up with a massive balance that sometimes it's even out of control and unsustainable. So debt is also very easily accessible, right? And I think we can blame the system and say that really it's just so easy to get debt. But at the end of the day, we all need to guard ourselves against getting into the trap of being highly indebted, right? So pre-COVID, I had the opportunity to work and live in the US for about a year. And I just remember for the first time, it just made perfect sense. It just made sense why the US was considered to be the most highly indebted country just in terms of consumer debt in the world. I got my bills on a monthly basis in the form of mail, like physical mail. So on a weekly basis, I'd make the trip downstairs to the mailing room, and literally when I opened the box, and I wish I'm not exaggerating, you know, I would just open that box and there would be piles and piles of envelopes, guys. Some would be platinum, some would be chrome, some would even have red ribbons in them. And really, on most of them, right, there was big bold writing there, very dangerous, very, very, very dangerous writing that says, you qualify for 2,000 US dollars. Qualify for 2,000 US dollars. They keep sending me these envelopes telling me that I qualify for 2,000 US dollars. And really, I had already decided that I'm not doing debt because it was so painful for me to get out of that department store debt. But, in conversation with friends and colleagues, one of my colleagues actually said to me, Tendo, it's very dangerous for you to stay in a foreign country without a credit card because, what if something terrible happens? Do you even have savings in USD? And I was like, I don't even have an emergency fund in USD. So maybe having a credit card is good, just in terms of making sure that if something happens in this foreign country, at least I'm safe. So confession, yes, I took out that credit card, but you know what? I did not use it. I did not use it once because I had already made up my mind that I am not going to go into debt for lifestyle purposes. Unfortunately, no emergency happened, so I did not need to even tap into using that debt. But I think the point of this story is just to illustrate how, aggressively credit is marketed and it is sold. And it's so easy to fall into the trap of these beautiful and glossy, envelopes that they send to you. So bottom line is, debt is convenient, debt is easily accessible, debt is very expensive, and debt can be one of the reasons that really hinder you from making progress in your finances. I hope this shows you just how easy it is to get into a situation where you've incurred a significant amount of debt that will take a lot of time, for you to get out of. So in the next few videos, we will do a deep dive into understanding debt, understanding your money, making sense of your money, and making sense of your debt, right? So we will talk about credit scores. We will talk about strategies on how to get out of debt. We'll talk about the cost of debt and really just all things debt related. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have a story to share, please let us know on the comment section. Now, if this is your kind of content, please subscribe, comment, like, and please remember to, push the notification button so that you are first to know when we do load our videos. Thank you for tuning in, and yeah, see you next time.